Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Abby Haggard, and this is my tiny corner of the world. It's very sunny outside, and it's supposed to get kind of snowy. It's going to get snowy later on toward the end of the week. Do I have my snow tires on? No. Was I planning? Yes. Did something happen? Yes. Can't post messages to some channels. Okay, why am I posting messages to some channels? No, everybody's here. I think everybody's here. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Wait a minute. What's happening here? YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. Yes, it's all good. All right, we're all good. Sorry, little technical conversation with this thing over here on the side. It suddenly kind of goes like this. So here we are. And I want to thank you for prioritizing this. I want to, I know I say it at the end, but sometimes people don't stick around to the end. So I want to begin at the other end today. I want to say that the three things that I say when I close a video, the first one is be good to you. You deserve it. And remember to hug your loved ones because they deserve it too. And then I always say, this would not work without you. Without you, I'm in rehearsal. You make this something that we are working on. And it's important for all of us, I think, to remember that if we're feeling kind of set adrift, if we're feeling tired, overwhelmed tired in the ways that we get, people look forward to seeing us, to hearing from us, to catching a little comment that pops on social media, to running into us in the elevator or at the local store. They look forward to it. They don't go around all day saying, gee, I hope so-and-so shows up. But when we do show up, they say, hey, there you are. And we shift them. Their anticipation of us and our arrival is a shift that happens that's amazing. Good morning, Maggie. How are you? I'm talking about the shift that we make when we're anticipating something that we've just been looking forward to. We're already in that place. We're just waiting for the other part of it to arrive. And the conversation today that I'm talking about is something that happens to all of us every so often. And I call it the Department of Unintended Outcomes. It's when you said, okay, so I'm going to do this, and then that'll happen, and then I'll do the other. And somewhere in that three-part harmony, something really interesting happens. Really interesting. Or not interesting. Horrifying. Or not horrifying. Just whatever. And then it resets everything. As I have just said, when somebody says, hey, there you are, it reinforces something that we had already decided mattered. And the Department of Unintended Outcomes came out of a conversation I was having about a book I'd read a long time ago about this fictional department in Britain that had been formed in their government. And the sole purpose was to examine the inevitable, logical, unexpected outcomes of bills they were thinking of passing. Because, when you're focused on a thing and you say it's going to do this and it's going to do this, you always need to have somebody saying, yeah, what happens if it does that? Well, it's not going to do that. Yeah, but what happens if it does do that? And then you say, good point. Let's put a notice up. let's make sure we think about that. And so the Department of Unintended Outcomes, for me, is when I make that normal left turn and I don't end up where I thought. And now I have to recalibrate everything. And every time I think of it, and it makes me chuckle, I wonder if everybody else goes through it. So I said to myself, today's the day we find out. Cheers. I'm thinking, I was talking to Maggie about her sore throat. And I said, butterscotch lifesavers. And the longer I thought about that after our chat, Maggie, I thought, I gotta get some of those. We're due for snow this weekend. Everybody's been talking about it in the weather office, and then they've put it all over Facebook. So people are going, oh, because of course we're in denial. Of course we're not ready. We don't want to be in the Department of Unintended Outcomes by the side of a highway is the thing, right? With the slippery roads. So I I feel that one of the things that falls apart for us, all of us, at some point, is it's a logical outcome of the way we are raised, the way we learn. We we come into the world with a part of our body knowing how to pump the blood and the heart and the good morning, Freddie. Good morning. The body knows how to look after itself. Everything else is learned behavior, and we learn it by observing somebody, the people looking after us. The people like us do things like this. Good morning, Charles. You're getting a freeze there too, Charles? Good heavens. Charles is down south. Down south. And so when we have something happen to us that isn't helpful, it doesn't work well. And we don't know the difference because we learned it young and we just keep doing the same thing. Eventually, somewhere along the line, we say, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I wonder, what if I did this? And over time, what we do, and I was talking to Maggie about this, and I said, you get a book of instructions, you get a recipe, and you get all the ingredients that they call for in the recipe. And the first time you make it, you say, oh, that's really good. You know what would be better? Oh, if I just added a touch of this, right? We've all done that. We've all done that. Well, that little thing we're doing, the little improvement that we're making, is our way of putting our thumbprint on it and saying, this is mine. This is the recipe, and this is my version of the recipe. And I've put my own signature on it. And then as we make the recipe, as we revisit it, somebody's coming over and we say to ourselves, they really like such and such. I wonder what it would be like if we added that. We try it and no, that was a bad idea. All right. Add it to a small sample. But we play with things, we nudge things, we put them together in a way that we haven't seen any other evidence of. And then people we know come along and say, oh, that's interesting. Where'd you hear about that? I didn't. It kind of popped into my head. Well, I like it. I think I'm going to do that. And that's how we see all these trends emerge. You see that, people are either wearing a shirt with no collar, or they've torn the collar off, or they've cut the sleeves on a t-shirt, or cut off shorts, right? They were jeans and somebody just hacked them off. This is taking what was and putting our signature on it, putting our imprint on it. And when we do that, we're making a very important shift. And the shift is we are moving from following the crowd to adapting it to me. Doesn't mean we are saying, I divorce thee to the crowd. It means that we're making it comfy the way we like it. So that's something we all do physically. It's something we all do with our food, or how we like our pillows, or, what kind of stuff we put in the car and we keep meaning to clear out. I'm not talking about anybody I might know. And so gradually over time, the thing we do that we found, we bought, we acquired, becomes our version of the thing because we make it our own. Correct? Okay. So the reason I wanted to talk about this today is because I've just announced, just yesterday, announced the launch party for Pivotry in Motion, for our speakers agency, and for a whole bunch of amazing books that I've been working on for a while. And the reason I want to talk about it along with this announcement is to explain something very, very important. I got interested in the idea of Pivotry in Motion just after COVID hit. And what happened to me, and I've told this story, but probably not recently enough. As a military child, Uncertainty is my normal. Any given day you come home from school, there could be boxes in the living room, which means that your mom or dad got their transfer orders and we're going someplace else soon. Because of course you pack and you pack your stuff and then you get on the plane and the military takes care of sending everything on with you. And sometimes it can be really fast because a transfer can come through because somebody else had to leave and somebody else had to leave and somebody else got sick. And then there was a crisis. So everything is shifted. And normally they try to move families where the kids aren't yoinked out of school. Sometimes it's not possible. As a result, you could come home and, so no school play next week. No, sorry, honey. So that kind of uncertainty, if you're bred into it, if you're born into it, is a surprise the first time. What are we doing? Where are we going? What's happening? The next time, oh no, not again. Is this the last time? No. Okay. And then eventually it's just, oh, I see. And do we know where we're going? And so we become familiar with a process that is imposed on us. It's November the 6th, and we have a weather forecast of several inches of snow this weekend. Sometimes we get snow earlier up here in Canada, and sometimes we get it a much later, but it's not a surprise that we would get it at some point in November. And yet, everybody's going, oh no, because we were busy doing other things. As a result, we have tools, we have winter clothes, we have boots, we have gloves, we have long underwear, and we know that we will need them again, which is why we don't get rid of them, happy days in March, because it's going to come around again. This is us responding to information we get repeatedly from the outside on a regular basis, predictably. When we don't get opportunities to make our own choices, when we don't seize opportunities to make our own choices, when we don't have that rebel entrepreneurial spirit brain going on saying, I'm not doing it that way, when we don't faithfully measure exactly to the ounce and the spoonful, and we just kind of go by feel, we are trusting our interior decision making. We are motivated to follow our passion, our purpose, our vision, our path. What we don't realize, and this was a really important, and I was very excited, Maggie. I thought we had an amazing exchange last night talking about the difference between internal and external, is that we don't realize how much of our time, how much of our focus, how much of our attention, and how much of the way we respond we have allowed to be shaped by external influences. When we decide and we take action, we're in charge. When we welcome, invite, allow others to make those decisions for us, they act, we react. We're not in charge. They're in charge. And for a lot of us, it's wonderful to have no responsibility for certain things. You know, I'm not as terrible at technology as I say I am until I speak to somebody who's really good at technology, and then they kind of pat me on the head and say, no, you're fine. Don't touch that. Okay. Why not? What if I already did? What happens then? The tech person goes, oh, geez. When we are curious, everything changes. When something happens in here or in here, and the little voice says, What's that? What, what's that? Can we get one of those? What does it do? It looks really cool. What is that? That's curiosity. That's us in the moment, wanting to add to the moment by our decision. What if I put that over here? Ooh, I bet that would look cool. We're populating, we're decorating, we're reassessing, we're recalibrating, we are reprioritizing by our choice, by our intuition, by our curiosity. We own that. It's ours. Somebody says, "Oh, I saw somebody do that." Yeah, well, you didn't see me do it. You want to see me do it? It's ours. And we take great pride in it. We revert back to the age of 5 and it's mine. It's mine. You can't have it. Get your own. It's exciting. It's important. And when we say, this is my this, and this is my that, and this is the person who makes my life a living something, but it's my person. It's my chair. It's my office. It's my silly shoes. It's my mom costume. It's my mom costume. I bought that thing. I went and looked for the most unfortunate thing I could find and I succeeded, didn't I? Boy, did I succeed. And it's mine and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it in a really upside down way because they had a costume. I could have worn the costume. In fact, the first couple of days, I put the on and I thought, no, it's not me. I gotta be mom. I gotta be me. And in doing that, changes I make are my decision. Changes I engage in are my journey. They're mine. And there is something incredibly powerful and rewarding and exciting that there is something that we own. And we can say, yes, I did this. I've often made meals and people have said, was there a picture of it in the recipe book? No, it's never been done. I see. And I stand up for the things that I've done, even if they're a bit wonky. Why? Because they're mine. They're mine and they're special, right? And you need that coat when you and Kat were up here. Yes, you do. I'm hauling out the sensible, tall boots and the warm stuff. So when we stop, and Maggie, I'm going to share the time scheduler with everybody. So I created something a while ago when I first started taking in clients and coaching them to either change their path or change their brand or change their something. And I said, people underestimate the effort it takes and the negotiating it takes to add something new to our day, to our life, to our routine. So I created this little table, and it's got numbers on the side and a column that says thing at the top. And then there's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then a column that says total on the other side. And there's, I don't know, 30 things, 30 rows maybe. And the bottom 2 rows, the very bottom row, is the number of hours we spend on each thing, added up at the bottom. Beside each thing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the number of hours we spend that day on each thing. And each thing that I'm talking about is sleeping, is morning routine, evening routine, brush your teeth, comb your hair, have a shower, all that, right? Put goo on, take goo off, whatever it is. That period of time deserves a category. So I call it getting ready. And so the first one is sleep. Second one is getting ready. The third one is house, because when you get ready, do you make your bed? So that when you come home and you're getting ready to go to bed, the bed's already fresh made. Okay, so then that's house. You then go to feed yourself, go to get all your stuff ready for work. That's a section. And then there's cleanup after eating. So cooking, eating, and then cleanup, and then organize what you're going to do for the day. And if you leave the house, if you work outside, it's commute. And if it's not, it's prep for work. If you have other people in the house that you're in charge of, then you have to get the kids ready, or you have to get the animals ready, or you have to get a partner or somebody, a roommate ready to go, do, be. And so you take care of that. And then there's work. And then in between, there are things like maintenance. Something's wrong, the pipe is dripping, something dropped on the floor. That's housework, right? And then you need to run errands to go and do and get things. And so there's the time it takes to run the errands. And then there's hobbies. And then there's friendship. And then there's family. And then there's other. And then at the bottom, right before the very bottom where it says total, there is new thing. And the new thing is this idea that you had, this course you're going to take, this workout you're going to do that you hadn't been doing before. And you're going to, on a separate piece of paper, figure out how long you're going to take that day for the new thing, whether it's preparing, whether it's researching, whether it's actually the doing, whether it's the doing and the commuting, whatever it is, you're going to look at the amount of time that you want to add to that list of stuff that is your new thing. And if you're going to start, all these part-time business ideas that people promote, it's only 3 hours a week. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's only 2 days a week. No, it isn't. Eventually it is, but not in the startup. Everything takes longer in the startup. First time you want to ride a horse, you got to figure out where the horses are. See, it's that. So it's always something. So when you have put in the other thing and you've got all the hours, right? You have a problem because you've added the other thing. It's curious. If you list all the stuff without the other thing, you list all the other stuff. I'm going to tell you something. No matter what, when you add all those hours that you wrote down, they have to add up to 24 hours. You know why? Because there isn't anything left over. You always end up with 24 hours. At the end of the day, when it clicks over to tomorrow, you've spent 24 hours. So you need to revisit and figure out where you missed the hours. Or if you end up with more, clearly, no. So once you figure out where your 24 hours are, now you look at the new thing. And let's say the new thing on the first day, you're going to give it 3 hours. Okay, where are you going to take the 3 hours from? Because you filled up your 24. So where are you going to cut time? Is it going to be binge watching? Is it going to be on the phone? Is it going to be, I don't know, sleeping? Is it going to be work, commuting? Yeah, I'm going to quit my job, start a new one. Okay. Somewhere we have to reorganize that. And what's fascinating in the reorganizing, what we're doing is we are adding something to our day, to our life, right? 7 days a week, that is ours. It's our idea. Even if it's going to work on something else for somebody else, it's our idea. Even if somebody suggested it to us, it's still our idea, which means we own it. We're responsible for it. It's our little. We get to call the shots in the beginning. As we look at how cool it is and how exciting it is and how eager we are to get started, and we look at all the other things we do, Maggie and I talked about this as well. Oh my God, how many things are we doing every day that someone told us to do, that have become something that someone told us to do. Commute, as you write down commute, and you remember that there was a traffic jam today. Why do you keep going the same way if it gives you road rage? Why not look for a different route? I don't have time. Okay. Well, instead of binge watching, why don't you get in the car and go and find another route? No, I can't be bothered. Well, then, if you can't be bothered to take ownership of it, maybe stop complaining when you have no control over something that is external. Well, yeah. Okay. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're not happy and you're not willing to shift it from I'm following orders to I got this, then what's going on is you're staying stuck because it's convenient. You're staying stuck because complaining gives you a boost of cortisol, gives you an adrenaline rush, doesn't take you anywhere, doesn't change anything. It doesn't make anything better. It just incrementally makes it worse. Because a constant repetition of something that's annoying becomes a thing. So in our conversation today, the Department of Unintended Outcomes, my question to you is, when you hit those walls, when you find yourself someplace you had no intention of being, was that you? Was that you just acting en route, just going along on autopilot? If you don't like it, is there a reason you're not changing it? When somebody helpfully says, well, why don't you know what? I'm too tired to talk about it. Okay. Well, get your later folder. Get your later folder out, right? Get your later folder out and write it down. Write it down, traffic jam, every day, 8:15. And at the end of the day, every day, you look at it and you say, yeah, I'm going to do something tomorrow about that traffic jam. Or when you're writing in the later folder halfway through the day and you think, and you're looking above and it says traffic jam 8:15, you think, you know what? I'm going to try a different way home. I'm going to see if that's better. I'm on my way home. I don't have anything immediate, so I'll do that. I'll take a detour and see what happens. If we're driven by external influences, someone else is driving the bus. If we are choosing our vehicle, we're choosing our path, we're choosing our purpose. If we're doing that strategic work, it's ours to own. If we get it wrong, okay, we'll do it a different way the next time. If we do it wrong, it doesn't mean we're a failure as a human being. It means we're a human being. So if we want to enjoy what's coming, if we want to enjoy the excitement, and it doesn't have to be I'm going skiing down Everest. It can be, every time I go to that restaurant, I always order this. This time I'm going to add green peppers. I always mean to do it and I never do it. I'm going to write down green peppers. When I go in, they're going to say, can I help you? Yes, green peppers. What? No, I'll have this and then I'd like to see the menu. Because it's our life. It's our life. And, the five question self-diagnostic that I put myself and everyone through. Why do I want it? What does it do? What does it change? Who does it serve? Why do I care? If you can't answer those questions, why do I want it? If you don't know why you want it, what are you doing? If you don't know what you want, then you need to do some work. And I was saying to Maggie, the interesting way, if you don't know what you want, here's what you do. Don't worry about it. Don't obsess about it. Get a piece of paper and list all the things you absolutely know you never will want in a million years. List them. You'd be surprised how many things you don't want. I did that list the first time, and it was pages and pages and pages of stuff that I don't want. But at the end of the day, after I had made that list, I had a pretty good idea of what I did want, because I wanted something that was left off the list, obviously. And if we don't do that gut check, that check-in, if we just keep going by rote, because people like us have always done it like this, at some point we wake up and say, well, that's boring. That's boring. Why am I doing that? I'm not having any fun. I want to shift. I want to change. Do I want it badly enough to make myself uncomfortable and look stupid? Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, because boring is just awful. And when we have that conversation with ourselves, we are shifting out of external telling me what to do and internal deciding if I want to. Because if somebody says, do this, and I say, no. What do you mean, no? No. Why not? No. Ask someone else. Well, no, I don't want to know. It's just, no. Thank you. No. That throws everybody off. Person telling you what to do thinks they're in charge. They are, right up until that moment. You're not in charge of this. This is mine. My decision. And I don't want what you're offering me. So make me another offer, or I'll suggest something, but I'm not doing that. You'll do it and you'll like it. Well, I'll do it. I don't have to like it. Well, you do it the best you can. I will do the best I can. I don't like it. All of a sudden, it's a whole different conversation that we're having. It doesn't have to be confrontational. Tap on the door. Can I talk to you about something? I've got a problem. Yeah, sure. Sit down. What's the problem? The problem is this. It's kind of and I like to do it differently. And I have an idea and I want to run it by you. Well, we have a lot of, like they said, there's a ripple effect. No, I know. I've thought about it. And when you do that, no matter what the climate is, where you work, the relationships you're in, what is going on, you are introducing new elements. And the thing that is so important, people don't like change if it wasn't their idea, because it's inconvenient. We got to completely recalibrate the way we do it. We actually have to be thinking and present in the moment instead of just on autopilot. And by the first 16 times I do it, I'm going to look like an idiot. None of that is appealing. However, it might be an improvement. And so gradually, these things happen. What I'm saying today is that if we get into the habit of relinquishing ownership, because it's easier to go along, to get along, to stay with the same old status quo, then as we do that continuously, we are gradually checking out. We are gradually removing ourselves because our heart isn't in it, our soul isn't in it, our imagination isn't in it, our craving to use a skill isn't in it. And so we're basically just showing up. We're not leaning in. And we don't like that. We want to sink our teeth into things. Not everybody wants to sink their teeth into everything. Not everybody is a fighter and a pioneer and an explorer and an idea person. Lots of people just want it comfortable and predictable so they can show up and do their job. but they like that. That is the thing they chose. It suits them until it doesn't. So here's the thing that I witnessed about all of that. The list is growing. The don't want list is growing. Good for you. So when COVID happened, when a health scare happens, when a weather scare happens, it's a scare because it's sudden and because it's large and we weren't ready. And we don't know where the instruction book is. When something like that happens, we have two kinds of people going through it. We have people going through it who are internal directed. Make my decisions, think outside the box, decide to do this. And we have people who prefer to have other people make the decision, tell us what to do, when to show up. We do not wish to be engaged in that part of it. We just want to go along to get along. Lots of people like that, no problem. Unless the deciders hit a wall. Unless the instruction book is completely useless. And things are moving at a pace that none of the decision makers can keep up with. They're calling for this much rain. Oh, now it's double. The winds are going to be this. Oh, now they're 3 times faster. It's safe to do this. No, now new information in, it's not safe to do this. You can eat this, don't eat this. You can use this handy tool. No, it's not a handy tool. Those upgrades and changes in information don't normally happen every 15 minutes, every 24-hour news cycle. We use something for 10 years and then discover we should be using something else. Okay, that's the learning curve. What happens in an unpredictable situation isn't a learning curve. It's a whirling dervish. It's all over the map. And we can't get hold of it, and we don't know what it's doing. And what that does to us, for those of us who, even those of us who are internally driven, but for those of us who are externally driven, it's terrifying because we don't know what to do. And we've expected somebody to tell us what to do. That's how it is until it isn't. And then in a crisis, all these people who are waiting for the instructions start to get nervous, start to panic. No instructions, no idea. Turned off the imagination. And the panic sets in. And that's when you see people yelling. That's when you see road rage happening. That's when you see people stealing things. That's when you see people randomly beating strangers up, telling them what to do. It's all panic driven. Because in the absence of knowledge, you got to fill it with something. So spinning is good. That keeps you busy. And bumping into each other and yelling at each other, that keeps you busy. But you know what it doesn't do? It doesn't move you forward. It doesn't get you where you want to go. It keeps you stuck. Just as waiting for somebody to tell you what to do keeps you stuck, just as the comfort of a routine that is inefficient keeps you stuck, so does blind panic. So does rage. If you don't know what to do, we fall apart. And then the inside that's keeping things regulated, confusion, that's dangerous. Probably we're in danger. Let's get the adrenaline going. Let's get everything happening here. Let's get something happening. But without directions, without instructions, it's a stampede. It's a swarm. It's a feeding frenzy. It's a mob. It is lemmings heading for the ocean. Why? Because they don't know how to do it from within. During the ice storm up here in Canada, where I was living, we had an extended blackout of hydro, weeks and weeks without power. And there was a local convenience store, and the fellow who owned it had his child at the cash. The child, I don't mean child like a teenager, the teenager didn't know how to do simple math using a pen and a piece of paper. Never learned. Flunked math in school. Don't need it, I got a calculator. I don't need it if I'm working at the store. The cash register will do the math for me. Couldn't make change from a dollar. Couldn't count, if this costs, 58 cents, what's the change from 58 cents from a dollar? They didn't know. Couldn't figure it out. Had no idea where to begin. I'm a little like that with fractions. But they didn't know what to do if there wasn't a tool that had always been there. We always had power. What do you mean we don't have power? You had people saying, oh God, the power's out. Okay, well, why don't we watch some television? Oh yeah. Want to read a book? A book? Do we even have any books? Yes, we do. Oh God. I guess. Want to play a board game? No. Well, what do you want to do? I want to watch television. Okay, well, I know that. Can we make some dinner? Sure. Go build a campfire. Oh, jeez. Why is the milk sour? Well, because you left it out on the counter and there's no power. You kept the fridge door open. There's no power. God. This is what happens to people who forget that their own survival begins with them. That list of everything we do. When I said it's not merely add the new thing, it's look at whether the new thing makes a difference. Let's look at all the things we do. Of all the things we already do, how many of those things are decided by somebody else? Is the new thing decided by us? Or is that somebody else saying, and furthermore, you need to blah, blah, blah? Because the Department of Unintended Outcomes is having no resources to save ourselves. My apartment is on the 15th floor. It's lovely, beautiful. When the power is out, the elevators don't work. So if I want to come in and go out, I use the stairs. I have a car. It's parked inside the building in the garage. When there's no power, can I get the car out? Yes, there's an override. You pull the door up manually. If I run out of fuel, where do I get fuel for the car? Where do you go to no power. So maybe we won't go for a drive in the country for something to do. We won't use up the fuel. Well, how do I get the fuel in the car then? I don't know. Do you know anybody who just has fuel? A farmer, maybe? Yeah. Well, so all the things that we have created as conveniences that are managed and then provided to us, how much control over those decisions, over those conveniences do we have? Can I make food and eat food without using any of the appliances that are in my apartment? Do I have water? Can I flush the toilet? If no, did I need to buy water? If I can fill the tank manually with water, then I can flush the toilet. I know that because during the ice storm, I would go outside and chip ice off the side of the house, bring it in, melt it beside the wood stove, and then pour it in the tank and flush the toilet. This is why pioneer women died young. They quit. So how resourceful are we? How much intention do we have so that we don't end up at the Department of Unintended Outcomes? How strong are we when we get together with smart people who have faced challenges and figured out a way to override, go around in order to succeed in getting where they want to go? What have they done on a daily basis to give them the confidence and the certainty that they can do it again tomorrow, no matter how terrible that challenge was to overcome? This is the reason my experience with COVID, my understanding that I am wired differently from probably 8 out of 10 people I see every day, thanks to being a military child, thanks to my uncertain life. Even now I'm lazy, but I know I can revert because I had all those years of practice. It will be like falling off a bicycle for the first time in a while. It will hurt, but I can recover. But how many of us can? That was why I created this concept of pivotry in motion. If you know you have the skill, if you know you have the talent to change your mind, to say, I choose me instead of thee, I choose this instead of that, I know I was okay. It's no longer true. And it's my life. And this is what I plan to do. That's pivotry in motion. We are all born with it. We do not know we use it. We do not know how we use it. I do, which is why I started writing about it and researching it and interviewing people and looking at all the ways that's a very interesting conversation to have, because everybody's curious how they would do what they need to do. Where would they find the skills? Who would they talk to? And my producer partner, Gary, and I were talking, and I said, we need to create a conversation, a different kind of conversation. And he said, absolutely. He said, I don't like being a spectator. I like being a participant. I like to be able to go on a hike. I don't want to watch a movie of somebody going on a hike. I want to hike. And I said, okay, well, then those are the kind of speaking situations we want to create. We don't want talk, 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 sitting audience, spectate, spectate, spectate. We want debate. We want conversate. We want a speaker saying, so then this happened and this is what I did. And we want somebody saying, I have a question. What about? And then the whole room says, yeah, and you know what? And now we're creating something. Now everybody in the room is invested for the same reason. Because the speaker's topic, the story, which is a map, is something we can adapt. We can use for us. Yeah, it's crazy the way you did that. It's a miracle that you got through it. Well done, you. Yeah, it's great to hear this. I want to ask you a question. And the speaker should be able to say, bring it. Why? Because we're all in it together. So, pitch commercial at the end of the show? Absolutely. Today's the 6th. On the 16th of November in Ottawa, I'm launching it. I'm launching the new direction in my career. Everybody's been saying, so when is this going to happen? How long is this taking you? And the answer is, I'm ready. I'm pre-launching 8 books, 1 day. I wrote, put together, collaborated with 8 books. It's going to be a QR code pre-launch. You can pre-order on Amazon. It's going to come out in a few weeks. But at the party, at the launch, the QR code will be there. You're going to meet the speakers. You're going to watch me do the new thing I'm doing. We're going to have conversations about, where can I learn how to do this thing you do? Maggie and I had that conversation. I said, let's have a conversation. Everything about wanting more control, more direction, more purpose, and more excitement back in. Because this is fun. It's me now. It's my turn. It's our time. The launch is the 16th of November. I've got an Eventbrite thing on Facebook. I'm going to be putting it on LinkedIn today. You can go to my website, abbyhagyard.com, and find it. It's on the landing page. And you can reach out to me on any of these platforms that I'm on. Reach out to me. It's an afternoon thing. It's a Sunday afternoon, 1 until 5 p.m. in Ottawa, Canada. So if you can't do that, we're going to try and broadcast it. We're going to see if we can broadcast it. We're certainly going to record it. We may not be able to broadcast it live. We're looking at their tech. But you'll be able to see it. You'll be able to witness what happened. And it's a bit last minute. We had one venue cancel. We had another venue cancel. We found this one, and this one is actually better than the other two. So you know what? You roll with it. You make it work. We make things work if they matter. And what matters for me is us. We are in this together. There's more artificial intelligence. Great, more tools. What do you do if it's broken? What if you do the battery blows up? Can you still do the thing? Can you still be independent? You want to be. You don't want to be stuck by the side of the road. You want to be able to say, I'm walking here. You want to be able to make change from 58 cents on a dollar. And if you're not sure, reach out the way Maggie did. And we'll have a conversation. Because part of this trajectory is me guiding you so that you get to choose. So that you say, I didn't know I could do that. Well, yes, Virginia, you can. So the Department of Unintended Outcomes is the place we end up when we didn't mean to. And everybody ends up there at least once in their lives. There's no reason why we have to keep ending up there unless we've given up. And what kind of life is that? So you know where to find me. And I'm waiting for you. But check out my stuff on social media. Big thing on Facebook. Big thing will be on LinkedIn by noon today. And come and visit. Be part of it. Check out the speakers. Check out this new thing I'm doing. I can't wait. Can you? Okay, that's it. Look what I've done. Ooh, I'm just under. Okay. I said at the beginning, I'm going to say it at the end. This is nothing without you. So be good to you because you deserve it. And remember to hug your loved ones because, oh boy, do they deserve it too. I will catch you